Welcome to Unfit Statesman with Zach Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, episode 5 of our rejuvenation, our vaginal rejuvenation here on Unfit Statesman. I just got off the phone with a veterinarian who answered a myriad different questions that I had. One of my cats, my beloved Mimi, the Antifa member, who was, she was the one that was dropping off the pallets of bricks during the 2020 riots. Very good organizer, very methodical, embraces chaos and anarchy, and not anarchy in the libertarian way that, where, we follow the non-aggression principle. She's not about that. She's more anarchy in the sense of the bad guy in The Stand, Stephen King's The Stand. That's the type of chaos and anarchy she embraces. But she went a little too hard, and she had to have one of her legs amputated. So Mimi is technically a disabled woman of color, and half black, half white, but she leans on the black side, and we told her to do that. You say, anybody asks you, you tell them you're black, don't tell them you're white. But she had to have her leg amputated, and it baffles me. It absolutely baffles me, the challenge of taking care of a fucking pet after they're sick, or they had some type of fucking emergency or surgery or whatever the fuck it is. It's so difficult. And I'm actually basically just recycling a Louis C.K. bit about how pets don't understand that you're taking care of them. So they just think you're fucking with them constantly. It's constant. Everything that we do, she just is fucking angry at us. Right? I'm fucking finger fucking her throat to get a pill down there. Anti-inflammatory, and she's, every time she's done, she's like, you raped me, you molested me. That's the way she looks at it. And she's not entirely wrong, right? In the natural order of things, if another animal higher up in the food pyramid, or the higher up in the food hierarchy, the predator-prey hierarchy, came and shoved their paw down her throat, that's something to be avoided. And that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the weird things that you wouldn't come across in the observation of basic instinctual behavior, right? The pills, the medications, the fucking donut collar that we put on her so she doesn't fucking lick the stitches open, because cats have that weird fucking, that Spider-Man finger tongue. But even, I would assume, where you just get your leg chopped off, you have stitches, and it hurts. One would assume that in an instinctual behavior of all animals, just because of the fact that they're feeling pain, they wouldn't try to break the world's high jump record and sprint around like a Jamaican track team. You would assume that, right? Because we're trying to avoid that right now with Mimi. We can't have her running and jumping, okay? We can't have her playing for the fucking Lakers right now, all right? We can't have that. We can't have her, going out and giving a mediocre performance and then coming back and giving a press conference and then being shitty to the reporters because you had a bad game. We can't have her doing that, okay? We have to have her on rest, right? She's got to be on the IR. And she is just not understanding that she can't sprint at full speed and jump on top of the fucking cabinets. And this is where I become perplexed. Because, again, she feels the pain. Out of the dedication to self-preservation, which is found in the most basic instinctual behavior of all animals across the animal kingdom, pain is an indicator that something's wrong. So usually you take it a little easy, right? You find a nice den to hide from predators, and you take it easy until you're healed. Nope. Nope. Nuh-uh. Nah. Rise and grind every single fucking day. She's doing the Sigma grind set, right? It's legitimately a Wolf of Wall Street situation where she has the work ethic to get up in the morning, right? Scam old people into buying penny stocks and buy Lamborghinis and DUI them into the median and kill the passenger in your car. She has the mentality to rise to those magnificent potentials. But the problem is she's also doing what Leo DiCaprio did in The Wolf of Wall Street. She's also being a detriment to herself because she should be laying back, right? She should be laying low, right? Can't be too flashy. You can't go too hard. You have to know when to take it. You have to put you don't even have to put the brakes on. You just got to ease up on the gas pedal. My favorite movie of all time, American Gangster, starring Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, Cuba Gooding Jr., that guy in 12 Years a Slave. Who's the black guy who just did like the Bond, the British guy? I forget his name. There's a lot of really fucking the Mexican from or no, that's not him. That's a different Mexican. It's an amazing movie. But one of the themes of that show was, and this was based on a true story, Frank Lucas, who's the lead, the gangster who's pushing heroin in Harlem and throughout like North Jersey, all 5 boroughs basically. He was a fucking kingpin. I might have to sneeze. Damn it. I didn't have to sneeze. But basically, he mastered the art of being a drug kingpin and a gangster by laying low, staying off of the Fed's radar, taking his foot off the gas pedal. Then one night, he went to a prize fight. I think it might have been an Ali fight. He wore this like $50,000 full mink coat, mink hat, like a mink, just full getup. And Russell Crowe, the cop that Russell Crowe was playing, noticed him and said, "Who the fuck is that? Why is he in a fucking $50,000 outfit? Who the fuck is that guy?" And then from there, he did a little research, found out this guy Frank Lucas. Ooh, he's selling Blue Magic. What's Blue Magic? All of a sudden, this product's popping up in Harlem called Blue Magic. Point is, Mimi needs to fucking take her foot off the gas pedal and let us do what we're going to do. And it's shocking to me that she just doesn't have the instinct to do so. And it makes it very difficult on us, right? Put her in the crate, she fucking whines like a bitch. But not all decisions, you're never going to understand all decisions made, right? You're never going to understand the reasoning behind a decision that you think, hey, this is not beneficial to you or me. Why are you doing this? What is the point of doing this? Have you thought about this decision? Hey, Mimi, have you thought about what could possibly happen if you sprint full speed and then jump onto the TV stand? Have you thought about it? Maybe she has. I don't know. Maybe there's an ulterior motive. I don't know. You don't always know, right? And you're not meant to know. But it is good to question. You're not meant to know everything. If you know everything, then you're probably a very, very miserable man or woman. But let's be honest. Can a woman ever know anything? Yes. This is the direction we're headed on this episode, folks. You don't have to know everything. It's okay to question everything, but don't dwell on it. One thing that I question is what the fuck Campbell's Chunky Soup is doing right now. What the fuck are you doing, Campbell's Chunky Soup? Say, Zach, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Well, let me fucking clue you in on a situation here. And I had to put the name of this fucking flavor of Campbell's Chunky Soup in my phone because I couldn't remember it. Campbell's Chunky Ghost Pepper Chicken Noodle Soup. Ghost Pepper Chicken Noodle Soup. Campbell's Chunky Soup. What are you doing? What are you doing? Nobody who's going to have the spice tolerance for ghost pepper is buying Campbell's Chunky Soup. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're showing a red flag as if you're abandoning your base. Your base, Campbell's Chunky Soup, is 45-year-old white male, about 30 pounds overweight, still hits the gym, never really understands that even though he's putting on muscle by doing bicep curls and shrugs, the main health concern for him should be the belly fat, and he's not understanding that. And it's he does understand it. He's just not willing to do the work, and he thinks that if he just puts on enough muscle, people will ignore the fat, which is never true, by the way. It's never true. And yes, he leans conservative. He leans conservative. He loves the fucking commercials on Fox News. He's pumped about his smart TV, even though it's at this point a damn near antiquated technology. He's had violent-ish moments in his life, but he's kept it together. He's never gotten a misdemeanor or a felony. Maybe the cops were called once, but no arrests made. Loves the Rocky franchise. Loves early 2000s, 2010s football players. A lot of Mike Allstott fans eating Campbell's Chunky Soup, right? A lot of Zach Thomas fans eating Campbell's Chunky Soup, right? And let's be honest, you go down the list of their favorite players in the NFL, they're going to be white. They're going to be the Wes Welkers, right? Oh, Luke Kuechly? Fuck me. Handsome boy, humble. Fucking could fill the fucking gap, right? They love a Honda. They love a Chevy. This is your base, and you're abandoning them. What are you doing? You say, well, we're not abandoning them. We're just making things for other people. Other people don't want you, and it's understandable. I don't know what you're putting in your soups, but it's not food. It's probably not edible. It's probably not a wise decision on the consumer's part. I don't know what it is. I used to love Campbell's Chunky Soup, the steak and potato. Come on. Now get a fucking ghost pepper shit out of here, okay? Now I don't mind a little spice, a little buffalo wing. Okay, I get the extra spicy buffalo sauce. I'm a flavor man. I'm not a spice man. You know me. I'm a little vanilla, sure. Some people say, yeah, it's a little generic. That's a little vanilla. You need to expand your palate. Nah, I don't know. When there's a prevailing narrative that white people need to expand their palate, you start getting Campbell's Chunky Soup making ghost pepper chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup is for the ill, okay? Chicken noodle soup is for the ill. What the fuck are you doing giving them ghost pepper chicken noodle soup? You think that's going to help a sore throat? You think ghost pepper chicken noodle soup is going to help the sore throat? Right? You think that's going to help the stomach ache? It's just what a mistake. What are you doing? Donovan McNabb would not be proud of you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go watch the Donovan McNabb Campbell's Chunky Soups with his mother. What are you doing? You know, oftentimes I question the behavior and strategy of the political parties or political candidates or whatever, whom or whatever. And oftentimes I will provide free of charge advice so that they can mitigate or completely halt the bleeding that they have caused by their stupid, nearsighted, ill thought out fuckery of a decision. I often will do that free of charge. Pro bono, that's what they call it. They call me Pro Bono Brown. Okay? Zach Pro Bono Brown. Campbell's Chunky Soup. You need to make no changes. Never, ever, ever make any changes. It's a very rare piece of advice because the market's shifting all the time. Culture is shifting all the time. The supply and demand curve for different foods is shifting all the time based on flavor, based on whatever chemical that comes out that can make a Dorito taste better, right? Can make a Dorito more addictive. It's constantly the ebb and flow of the supply and demand curve of food. You are blessed and cursed at the same time with the ability to never have to change anything. Now, you're never going to get to the top, right? You're never going to get to the top where you are the optimal, you're not going to be the apex of flavor ever. You're never going to be, the brand that satiates the most people's, the widest varieties of people's taste buds. You're not going to be that, but you have a niche carved out. You have a niche carved out. You've got another 30 years before that niche dies. And you're just going to fuck the profit up by trying to expand into other things. Leave the ghost pepper shit to fucking Taco Bell. Or the Taki chips, whatever it is. You have no idea the vein of gold you struck with the demographic that I described earlier. Right? Gen X, I believe, is what they are. They're not boomers, although boomers, they'll dabble with you. They dabble with you. Boomers, Gen X, don't fuck with them. Right? You saw how boomers and Gen Xers reacted to Bud Light. Put a tranny on the can. All bets are off. All bets are off, brother. Don't make any changes. You have a good thing going. You've got about 30 years before this demographic dies out. And from that point, die a legend. Don't overstay your welcome. Once they die, stop it. Never another Campbell's Chunky Soup. And any existing Campbell's Chunky Soups out there will become relics and they will be traded over the internet like prehistoric artifacts. Die a legend. Stay in your lane. Die a legend. Stay in your lane. Understand the opportunity you have. It's better to bear the evils that you know than to bear the evils, the unknown. I don't forget the fucking. I said enough words in the first part for whoever's curious to actually know the wording of that saying to Google it and you'll fucking find it. To bear the ills we know not of, we'll say. Stay in your lane. Stay humble. None of this ghost pepper bullshit. Okay. Right. You're not a primetime Deion Sanders. You're not Michael Irvin. Right. You're not Odell Beckham Jr. You're not a soup with swagger. You're a soup that gets the job done. You're a soup that gets the job done. Not flashy. Right? You're a Nebraska Cornhusker left tackle that went fucking first round because you just fucking seal it. Oh yeah, they're gonna have you pull. Fuck yeah, they're gonna have you pull because you're running a 4.75 as a 310-pound left tackle out of Nebraska. Okay. Don't overstay your welcome. Stay in your lane. My conversation in the second part of this episode will be with Cole from Tower Gang Cole, and I very much hope that you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy everything that I do, and if you don't, stick around. Let this evolve, right? Swish it around in your mouth for a while. Let the flavors come out, right? Go to the Patreon. Start fucking subscribing and liking my shit. I know that I'm new to the video shit with YouTube and Rumble and all that. Like it and subscribe because all of you I like that you are loyal with the audio, but fucking get over there. Yes. Enjoy the second half of the show, folks. And we're back for part 2, folks. We're back for part, but you didn't have to wait long, did you? Daddy's on top of the fucking control board today. Okay. Tell everybody where they can find you because I will forget to have you do plugs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Tower Gang Cole on Twitter, and I'm so Cole, if you know me from Fat Comic Dave on Tower Gang, we go live every Wednesday. If you like Out of Your Fucking Skull that Zach used to do, or even Unfit Statesman now, we go fucking crazy. We can talk about random shit. So just check us out. We have a lot of fun. 9/11 on Wednesday nights.
Fuck yeah. And you guys recently have grown exponentially. So
dude, it's crazy. It's stupid. Like we've been having on Owen Benjamin. We've had him on twice, and Owen is like one of the I liked him. I remember I was an old school like Crowder listener, so I liked Owen Benjamin from then. And then being able to talk to him, he's just so fucking funny, man. And he'll just throw out stuff like. And then some other guys. We just had on. I wasn't able to be on it, but we just had on Lord Miles. I bet you know who that is, right?
Probably.
He was the guy that went over to Afghanistan, got captured by the Taliban.
Brit?
What's that? Yeah, Brit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know who that is.
Yeah. So we had him on for the second time. But yeah, so he's pretty. So yeah, it's been really fun though. It's been like for me, I just do this for fun. So to see kind of some growth is actually really cool.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Pool has taken a decent liking to you.
Not me personally.
Well, not you personally, but the podcast. I mean, it's maybe not so much after the fucking recent Israel-Palestine talks with Clint and Dave. I mean, Jesus fuck.
It's like. Dude, it's weird. I mean, you probably dealt with it too. Or just seen it. Just how this one topic is the one that everybody turns into just a blank wall of just like, nope, Israel has the right to defend itself. Nothing else you say matters, and just shuts down everything else.
Yeah, it was also too. It's like every single disclaimer that could have been made that Dave and Clint said. Yes, Osama bin Laden is not to be perceived as a hero or as somebody who has altruistic values. That is not what we're saying. We're just saying that it's not just Dave, but a lot of people listen to your enemies. Like whatever's causing them to do harm to you, see if you can tweak that.
Yeah.
Just see if you can tweak that. However, I don't do that in my personal life. I still will fucking eat a 12-piece extra spicy buffalo wing and shit blood.
I did that
Okay.
yesterday, man. I went to B-Dubs. I ordered their wild wings, man. I did their 15. I downed them all, and I was shitting fire this morning.
So I actually recorded this week's episode yesterday, and this will be next week's episode, next Sunday. And I last night ate Applebee's wings of all wings, and dude, it came out not even diarrhea. It was that fucking squeezing out toothpaste.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You
just
know?
it's like a
It
really
sticks
soft
to the
log.
side.
Yeah, but
It's
it
like when
burns.
when wine has legs and it sticks to the
You see
glass
that?
after you swish it around. Oh my god, dude! And the worst part is too. It's like I know whatever is there still. Like so, after you cut everything off, after everything's pinched off, you still know that there's just a glob of goo there,
And you
and it's
have
just
to go.
formed. It's like it's like the dome that the F1 track is around. It's just you're gonna take that off.
And you have to you're like, okay, how much toilet paper do I need? And it's never enough. It's never enough to get that
Yeah.
dome. It's like you wipe 5 times, and at some point you're just like, fuck it. Like it's just gonna be. I'm gonna shit again. I know I'm gonna shit again.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get it the next time.
So, well, I'm lucky enough that if I do it at home, I have flushable wipes, which are
See, I'm gonna. That's my trigger word. I'm a civil engineer, and flushable wipes.
I understand.
Are
listen,
my bane of my existence.
listen. I understand. I understand that nothing is technically outside of the toilet paper that just breaks apart upon, as soon as it touches water. I understand it doesn't flush, but you know what it does do? Clean my asshole. And I can't. I'm not going to splurge for a bidet at the moment. Okay, and I will one day. I certainly will.
I will too. Yeah,
But-
that's like next. You gotta think. The funny thing about the bidet is like how many thousands of years did we have like toilet paper or a toilet paper like device to wipe our ass? And I feel like that from the beginning they were probably from a leaf to actually paper or whatever. The technology was changed when the bidet was introduced. Whatever, 15 years ago.
Yep.
Like it's crazy. Like we've had crazy ass washing technology within the past 15 years. I mean, it's the next level.
It's that's its own industrial revolution. In some,
It really is.
like that's so like the AI, the expedition of AI.
Yeah, it's like the
And
next
It's like
frontier.
that's basically what we're talking about anal chat GPT with
Dude, if
with-
you introduced bidets en masse to like India, they would immediately become a first world country. Like
Yeah.
that. Like if they actually like all of a sudden like the only thing keeping India back is that they smell like ass the entire time.
Isn't indoor plumbing still a big feat for them
Yeah.
over there?
They still we joked on our show. We called them street shitters because it was just like that's what they documented. They just they have like it used like how I want to say this is how it used to be in like Victorian like England and stuff. And was one of the reasons the Black Plague like swept through was because they would just shit on the side of the streets and they would have gutters just like our drainage today, and it would just flow down to whatever, and then they would finally catch it somewhere. But they would just shit in the street.
Well, and I wonder just how many indoor toilets just lead to just follow a tunnel directly onto the street.
Yeah, it's just like like a roof drain, but just like for
Yeah.
like just they
It's
just
like
hook it up.
shitting into a chimney. It's just straight.
It's just straight down
Yeah.
into the street, into your next door neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
Like they don't care. Like they're just shoving on down to the next guy. I just it's crazy, dude. I was joking in a group chat with some guys I'm in about just how like if you were I want to have an Olympics, but like the worst Olympics for just architecture and engineering between like China, India, and Africa. So it's just like their construction is so because like China's just building shit with like you've probably seen the videos of like the concrete that just crumbles in their hand. Like they'll just reach out and they'll like grab it and it just crumbles apart. Like they're crazy like that. And then India is just building like stuff that is just again like no bathrooms. And then Africa, like there's a video out there I saw this week of they just built a new bridge, and on the clipping of like the ribbon the bridge collapse, like while they were still
Oh,
on
I
it.
did see that. I
It's
fucking
so
saw that
funny.
video.
It's so
Jesus
funny.
fucking Christ.
They clip the ribbon, and then you just see the bridge like start crumbling.
And
Like, it was-
Africans are not known to be obese, folks. So this is not like a heavy load that was on that bridge.
No, there was one like white lady on there. Like she was like the one fat white lady, and she was like, "We did it!" Like
That was the fucking whoever is high enough up in that society to cut the ribbon. Whoever black guy, that's her. That's his.
Yeah, that's
his
true.
fucking-
Yeah,
that's his white queen. Yeah, no, it is. It's nuts. China did a bunch of that to like basically, sort of marionette their GDP on paper.
Oh yeah.
So they built like these cities of
Like,
just like paper, and nobody lived in them. Nobody ever lived in them. Nobody ever fucking touched them. They stood for like maybe like a decade, and then they just
They go in there and
demolished
they
them.
demolish them out, and then just build it up again. Build another one right there for no one. Like they just keep doing this.
This is like
And
the Tennessee Valley Authority, where they're like, you're just gonna go. We're gonna create jobs. You're gonna go dig a hole, and you're like, what are we doing with it? And you're like, we don't know. Well, listen, go dig the hole. We'll find a way. It's like me when I start sentences. I'll start with a word and I just go word by word, and I go, God, I really hope I make a point here.
I'm gonna end here somewhere. Yeah, they'll be like, "We'll dig a hole today. Tomorrow, we fill the hole."
Yeah.
And then that's 2 days of work right there, baby.
that's fucking-
We're already halfway through the week. Like we can.
Dude, that's 16 hours. Okay?
That's 16 hours of work. You
And
know
then
what?
honest to God, if anybody would have questioned it at that time, like if anybody would have like any of the social programs that FDR rolled out and that created jobs, if anybody would have went, yeah, but it doesn't seem like this is going to actually be beneficial to our overall GDP, our economy. I don't know if this is going to be good. And immediately the answer, and probably rightfully so at that time, should have went, do you have anything better to do? Or what are you doing?
It's like, you know, your wife is still at home, right? It's like
Yeah.
that. And you want to go home to her and hear her bitch you out? And
Yeah.
he's like, good fucking point. I'd rather dig ditches all day and then
Dude.
tomorrow fill those ditches up. with
Back
the-
then, dude, what are you, stay-at-home dad, pussy? Immediately. Like,
Dude,
you're gonna go
yeah,
dig
because
a pointless hole.
So you can go home and, you know, be a homosexual, you fucking homo, and then they just
Yeah.
stone the guy right there.
That
Just
might have
kill
been a
him.
social program. It was like, well, we're going to pay men to be homosexuals. Yeah, it's China and well, China's in Africa, so China, China's building a lot of shit in Africa. So I can't imagine their engineers are, these aren't Gothic temples that they're building
No.
that will stand for 400 years. These are
It's
quick and
below.
easy.
It's below like the Eastern European, like like that block, like that communist Soviet block, like
Yeah,
design.
brutalist-
Like
brutalist
it's
architecture.
worse than that. Like it's worse.
Yeah.
It's like at least they're stood up. Like they're still standing today. And the other thing was funny is just how many people die in China due to it during construction and doing simple like industrial tasks. I don't know if you've seen those videos. You're on Instagram as much as I am. The animated work like death or like accident videos. Have you seen those?
Probably.
It's basically they're true accidents that they animate to show people what not to do, and it's all Chinese people doing the dumbest shit in an industrial setting. Like there'll be like a big roller, and they just stick their arm in there. Doing
Oh,
something.
yeah, I've seen like 150 people stick their arm in a roller and just, I
It's
mean, it
it's
mutilates
great.
them.
And then they'll be doing stupid shit. Like they'll be like on top of like something, and like it's obviously that what they're on top of is what's holding them up. And then they like just hit that, and then it falls, and they just
Yeah.
fall, and they're just like it's all these Chinese people. It's like I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know if like because as libertarians we're like we hate OSHA, but then maybe like OSHA is like keeping us from just like whatever China has. Because I bet you China doesn't have any form, like they just don't give a fuck. They got 300 million people, like just whatever. That one dies, just pour concrete on top of him. He just becomes part of the building. Like who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, the amount of like rice farmers that they have that aren't they're still using like yaks to
Oh, yeah.
to do their fields. It's like, I'm sure the government goes, you're doing this, that's fine. I can give you a lot of money if you go do this right now. Like, no trick. You're going to go do this right now. I'm sure they go, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
It's-
And then they put them in there. And these are probably the people that are building these fucking fake cities. right? They probably just employ people who have had no education outside of
None.
like a homeschooling spiritual education, whatever they teach over
They
there.
haven't seen like anything from the 1700s onward. Like they're literally stuck in like the like pre-colonial era. That's what they're stuck in, and they're just like, all right, now you get to go into a factory and do like it's like with no training whatsoever. You just go in there.
They're
we tell you what to
somehow
do.
behind the Amish.
Yeah, yeah, they are. Like they, it's,
Dude, let me tell you something though. How fucking amazing would it be if we did have a faction of the American population who are actually just stuck in 1776? Muskets,
Oh,
horses,
that'd be actually really cool.
whatever that's that thick button up over another
Yeah,
button up.
like really thick. Like even like in the heat of the summer, they're out
Yep.
working in a field in
Oh
like
my
a 3-piece suit. They're just out there, just like, and you're like, what are you doing? Like
The wigs, the
yeah,
powdered
the
wigs.
big wigs. Yeah,
Oh my
the
god.
still like dying of like gangrene and stuff, like simple treatable stuff, like
Yeah.
from like they like fell in the field and maybe like a pitchfork like cut their arm or something, and then like die like 3 days later. Like they can't like they're just like whatever. This guy, poor guy,
Yeah,
Steve's
they
dead.
they died from like a wound infection. None of them ever got COVID, but they died of just the simplest fucking. They completely avoid all of the modern era diseases.
Yeah.
Because they're
They don't get cancer. They just don't live long
No,
enough to
they
get
don't-
cancer.
no, and all they eat is fucking legitimate, just farm to table.
Yeah, corn,
know.
like not GMO corn, like literally just corn that they grew themselves.
They
Like
fucking stink. Their teeth are all fucking rotted out. They don't go to the dentist. They're doing like what they did, like what George Washington did. There's just
yeah, it's wood. Yeah, it's
and
wood.
lead in
They
in
somehow
their-
got like whale bones. It's like, how the
Yeah.
fuck do you get whale? Like it's like you
Yeah.
can't even get those anymore. It's like,
Oh my god, dude! I would love that. That would be the best fucking. That
Would
would be
would it be kind of like a zoo, like where you could go visit them, but like you're outside?
no, because they're fucking violent.
Oh, that's
If you step on their property, they're fucking shooting.
oh yeah, they're 1770. They're like
Yeah.
yeah. You're right.
They're like the uncontacted tribe in the Amazon, where like if
Yeah.
you get near their tribe, good luck.
Dude,
like-
imagine flying a drone over them, like just like a regular, like a
Yeah.
like a commercial drone, just go right above and just watch them like freak out. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, they'd be like, "What the fuck kind of bird?" Jesus Christ!
They shoot at it and with their muzzle loader, and then like you just like fly away because it takes them another minute and a
Yeah.
half to reload it. Like you just have to don't get shot one
Although
time and you make it.
it would be funny though, because like you could, if you could step on their property with like 10 dudes, and go, "I declare war," and they go, "Fuck yeah," and then they would still take turns, and you just wouldn't.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have an AR. Like you can
Yeah.
you can shoot them. You can kill them all with one magazine. Like that's
Yeah.
all you need is just one. And then they're just like they're still in a line, like fucking jerking off the putting the ball in there. And
Yeah.
then yeah.
Yeah,
It would be-
You'd show them the wet ass pussy music video, and they'd kill themselves
Oh, they
immediately.
would die. God,
Dude,
they
can
would
you
die.
imagine? I've often wondered this, and I'm not even. I mean, we can stick to 1776. We'll even stick to 1776, where there was a wide use of sugar, natural sugar, but sugar. Imagine giving one of those dudes like a fucking Dorito. America would never have started. They would have been like, "This is." Like, because honest to God, the amount
we
of
did this. This is like this is what I sowed liberty in 1776. We sowed
Yeah.
out defeating the British, and what we reap is this like orange triangle thing that
oh
tastes
my
like
God,
literally the the most intense thing they've ever eaten in their life.
dude! Imagine giving like one of those guys from the uncontacted tribes like a Fanta
A Mountain Dew.
or a Mountain Dew. Holy shit, dude! A Red Bull.
Oh, I
Holy-
was just going caffeine. They've never had caffeine before, and like and even if you think about like the South Americans, how they like they were the ones that did the cocoa beans, and they did some sort of like caffeine, but
Yeah.
like they never had it concentrated. Like giving them like a 300 milligram Red Bull of caffeine,
Dude,
and then
give one of those boys an Adderall and fucking, they'll chop the whole forest down, dude.
I think this should be something that they do is where they do human testing. I don't care. These people, I mean, they're They're 1,000 years behind us. Like,
Listen, boys, we already done it with the fucking COVID vaccine. We're gonna keep doing it.
And
All
I
right?
want to give them every drug we have, and then this is
Yeah.
a blank slate. See what their effects do. Like it is a really cool way. Like it's the perfect test subject. Blank slate. They never had anything in their lives except for wild berries that they've eaten, and so you give these guys cocaine. Watch a uncategorized like an African deep African tribe member put cocaine up his huge nose, and then just. Do you think he still comes up with business ideas on cocaine just like we do? Or what's he coming up
Yeah, I mean, definitely whatever the equivalent of a business idea is, he's got him.
with? Yeah, it's
He's
like
100% got him. The only thing I will say is you couldn't dose these boys with hallucinogenics because a lot of the uncontacted
Yeah.
tribes and a lot of like ancient, like they do fuck with hallucinogenics.
yeah.
And so you couldn't really get them on that front, but you could definitely, any stimulant.
Yeah.
Any
uppers,
stimulant-
all uppers, like they haven't tried those at all. Those are all like artificial or like not on their wavelength of where they're at right now.
It's basically, here's what you could hit them with. You could hit them with the Adderall. You could hit them with street meth. You could hit them with cocaine. You could hit them with crack. You could hit them with heroin. Everything else, like booze even, it's like you could, but
We've seen what happens with that already. Like we have
the
countless of examples of us giving booze to every
Yeah.
sort of tribe.
and
under
their
the
liver
sun.
just can't at all process it. They're like,
It's always the same outcome. They
It's-
become the worst people ever.
Yeah.
They become like it's like just look at the Native Americans. We gave them booze, and now they live
Dude.
in their own place, and it fucking sucks.
it's fucking crazy because it's like the highest rate. So about 30 minutes south of where I grew up is the poorest. It's actually the poorest place in the nation. It's Pine Ridge Indian Reservation.
Jeez.
It's a dry county. They don't care. They cross state line. It borders Nebraska. They cross
Yeah.
state line, get the booze, come back with it, and it's a drug ridden, booze ridden, and it just has no money, but no federal jurisdiction and no state jurisdiction.
It's crazy. Like it's what we as libertarians would call paradise.
Yeah,
If they didn't fuck it up, it's such a weird thing because like they were given because the government fucked up so bad. They were like, listen, we've never fucked over like even slavery wasn't bad enough to give black people like their own nation, like of like, hey, hands off. It was like the Trail of
Yeah.
Tears, and they were like, all right, fine, y'all do whatever you
that's
want.
because, quite honestly, that was because the Native Americans had slaves also. They had black slaves also, and they took them on the Trail of Tears. And they're like, it would have been one thing if Native Americans, when white people were forcing them off the land, said, okay, but we're not going to bring our slaves. We're going to be moral. We're going to take this conquest as a people. No, they were like, I'm bringing this fucking guy. He's doing
Yeah.
he's doing a lot of good things for me. And so they brought slaves, forced them onto a fucking march that they didn't have
Yep.
to be on. Now, not that the alternative in staying on the plantation or staying on the area of land that the white people took over would have been much better for the black people at that time. Probably not great. Probably more than probably not great.
Yeah, let's
Pretty much a
go.
guarantee. But the idea that like it's like, yeah, we got forced out of our home, and it's like, well, if you say you got forced out of your home and you want people to feel bad for you, you should have left the slaves.
Yeah,
You
you
shouldn't have
can't,
had.
like,
You should have had. You should have had slaves to bring with you.
Imagine immediately after they're like, God, look how bad our life is. We can't even feed our slave. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna be like, look how small our slave is, man. This sucks. Like,
Can you
feel
imagine being a
bad for
Native
us.
American that has like a fucking a high outcome slave, a slave that does a lot of things for you, and they die of starvation or whatever the fuck else on the Trail of Tears, and you go, God fucking damn it, I'm not gonna fucking, how am I gonna farm?
How am I gonna
Like-
do this? I don't do this shit. I'm the master. It's that guy that does all the shit. Like this fucking sucks.
It's
I can't
honestly
do-
like you see your wife die, and you'd be like, I'll find a new one.
I can
then
get another
then
one of
your
those.
slave dies, and you're like, holy fuck, I'm ruined. I will
Dude.
never financially recover from this.
You know it's crazy. A lot of people don't know that how much the Native Americans fought on the side of the Confederacy, because they were like staunchly for slavery, and so
Yeah.
a lot like they didn't like a lot of people don't realize that the Native Americans hated
You know what's crazy? The black people were the only people that Native Americans wouldn't scalp because they were like afraid of their hair. They said that they called
Really?
their hair. Yeah, they said it felt like a buffalo, which is what the term buffalo soldier. That's how that originated. So they were.
Oh, that
yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Oh, okay, yeah.
They like the Native Americans were not a fan of the black people. We had a little love triangle.
I'm not a fan of what
happening.
you call the black people.
Yeah. It's literally that's old school racism right there, where your tribe is getting genocided, and you didn't even have like you were so racist that you wouldn't even pair up with the black guy next to you, and they're like,
nah.
We're getting fucked over too by these English people. Do you want to team up? And they're like, yeah,
Ew.
no.
They were just like, ooh, no. Like, look at you. Like, hey, we're red. You're black. Like, dude, you're black. Like,
Yeah.
It was funny is like recently with all this Israel Palestine stuff coming up is just how many people are pointing out that there's like all of like the Jew hate is like at the, like anti-Zionism at the highest it's ever been. Like, or, well, sorry, it's at the highest it's ever been in the last 50 years or whatever. I don't know.
Anti-Zionism?
And anti-Jewish, anti-Semitism. But I know anti-Zionism 100% is probably one of the highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
But so a lot of people are bringing up about like the slave trade. I've seen a lot of memes about the slave trade come back up about like who owned the boats, like and then like who So
is there any merit in that?
Because yeah.
Because it's like who owned the boats? It's like whoever ran the companies. But it was the companies. Like these were companies that were being sent. I
want to say that there was a lot of the African slave trade was handled by. I mean, it might have just been Jewish business owners, but I want to say it was. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't have all the information on it. I get all my information.
But we're gonna
memes.
we're gonna pick a side and we're gonna fucking go with it.
We're gonna go. Let's go at it. It's like
yeah.
Let's be a normal podcast and just completely out of our ass. Just talk and then just be like, no.
Honestly, here's my follow-up question to that. He's like, okay, you say Jews owned the boats that were transporting slaves in the slave trade. My question to you would be, who was renting the boats from the Jews that owned the boats? Because guess what? They weren't sailing it themselves. So here's the thing. Here's what might actually be
the Jewish land boat owner.
This is such a lifeline to the Jews own the slave boats is like whoever was renting them was doing the fucking bad deed. So it was some dumb fucking Protestant, some fucking idiot who was a follower of Martin Luther or his.
And he loves the Jewish landowner. Loves the Jewish landowner. Thinks that guy's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And the Jewish landowner hates that guy.
Hates that guy. Yeah.
Hates
thinks
him.
Because he pays on time. That's like they're friends now. It's like you're not friends.
We're not friends. Like no, that's actually a really funny thought. It's just like
who rented it?
Who rented the bus? Like he did. It's like now like a Jewish landlord. If a guy was making meth in his like apartment, is it his fault that as a Jewish landlord that his renter was making meth? No, it's not his fault. But like we know that guy's black though. Like we know he's renting from a Jewish guy. It's a black so. Which is kind of funny though, also because like the biggest slave traders were like black people. Like I'm pretty sure it was like
the North I forget what the
North
name
Atlantic?
of the North Atlantic slave trade, but the North African there were Northern African dynasties like massive empires that that there were I forget what the names of them are.
This is Sakota was one.
There's a few.
Yeah.
But I mean they were helping the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Like they were so powerful, and a lot of them, like the Barbary pirates, enslaved so many fucking whites. Like if you look throughout history, there were by far more white slaves than black, because not only were there a lot of white on white slavery, there was also a lot of black on white slavery. There was a lot of the Middle East still enslaves people. So like the topic of slavery is such a fucking, we have a dialed in, very narrow perspective on slavery, just because we focus on American slavery, which is
Yeah.
something to focus on.
You're right.
You know, but it's such a fucking idiotic thing where they're like, yeah, America's the most racist. It's like, well, I think one of the qualifiers to be the most racist country in history should be who owned the most slaves throughout history, and we're not it.
Yes.
So
yeah, we're not. It's you know, it's crazy when you look back at just like Eastern European, like they were like there's a lot of like Slavs. The Slavs were being enslaved by like they all just enslaved each other. Same thing with Africa. Like they were all. It's very weird how much they would just enslave each other. Like they would just. It was just from war. It was just from like war, and they were like, what do we do with these people that we just conquered that don't want to like be under us? Like, well, then you just enslave them, and it just would be like, hey, we enslave them, then they come over here, and then these guys get moved over here, and it's going all the way around. They did it in every. I mean, the Native Americans did it. The South Americans did it that were native there. I mean, it was all over. And you're right. It's like we did focus. I think I can't remember how much it was, but I want to say like the U.S. This might be just out of my ass, but I want to say it was like 13% of the North American slave trade was to the U.S. Like only like 13%. Or something like that.
Are you just assuming that because 13% of the population now is black, that's what we have?
I just were trying to remember. There's one that I just made that connection, but no, that's not. It could be. I could just be that retarded. But
You could 13% of whites in America had 50% of the slaves. So
you see how that worked out.
Yeah, and those are FBI statistics. You can't even.
You can't. It's not me. It's not me. You can't argue. I'm just giving you the pure data. You make your own assumptions.
Yeah. All right. So here's how I want to wrap this up.
Yeah.
So there was I found and I don't know if it's true, but there's a list of from 1876 to 1948. I have a list of amendments that were people tried to get onto the Constitution.
Cool.
Okay, and they weren't passed.
I like this.
And I want to go through them with you, and let's judge them all.
Okay.
In 1876, there was an attempt to abolish the United States Senate.
Okay, so that could go a lot of ways as a libertarian. One, it's like I could go like the full constitutional thing and be like, no, we need it because of the separation of powers.
Right, yeah, we should have the more balance.
The more like factors, bullshit they have to get through is better for me.
Of authority.
Where they have to talk to this guy and then this guy's talking like. But in the other sense, I'm like, hey, that means we only got like two more. Like we only have two more levels to go. And we can cut this whole shit off.
I definitely think from a logical perspective, the answer is no. Yeah. However, Schumer gone. Like it's like it's a lot of because the Senate they're the ones that it's 2 from every state, right? So it's only 100. Yep.
Yeah, and at that point it would have been like 80 something. So damn it, yeah, it would be like crazy.
No, it would have been. Well, yeah, maybe
76.
80,
yeah,
something.
I don't know how many. I don't know. Obviously, Alaska and Hawaii weren't in, and I can't remember. Maybe some of those western states weren't in the.
Was the Louisiana Purchase
past? Oh yeah, we're past. 1876 was past the Civil War. We're already.
Oh, I don't know when the Louisiana Purchase was.
That was in like 1830s.
Okay.
Right,
and then when did we take like California, Arizona, Texas?
That was around the 1840s. So we had with the Spanish American War. That's how we got all the way over to California, and then we had a
the old Alamo battle.
Yeah, then we had a treaty with England to get Washington and Oregon, and I think parts of Idaho as well. So like we kind of, and so that's how we
might have had like outside of like Hawaii. Or
yeah, it was just if they were ratified, if they were accepted as states yet. They would be territories of ours. I don't know if they were states yet. But yeah, it would be crazy to kind of see what happens with no Senate. And it was just the House of Representatives. So that's just
fucking George Santos, dude. Those boys are wild down there.
it would be kind of crazy because it would be like the biggest.
Isn't like Marjorie Taylor Greene? And
yeah, it's all like the craziest ones are all like in the representative because it's easier to get in the representatives than it is to get in the senator.
That's fucking maybe we do that.
But also the bigger your state is, the more representatives you get. So it would just be kind of like all like the big blue states would be the ones that kind of run all the shit. Is the only like unless something big happens where it shifts over, but it would mainly be like the big states would run shit. That's kind of why they wanted the Senate as well.
It's interesting. And by the way, folks, we're not going to come to objective, solid answers about whether or
No.
not this would be. We're going to have a lot of hung juries here. Also, in 1876, an attempt to pass the forbidding of religious leaders from occupying a governmental office or receiving federal funding. Separation of church and state, right?
I actually I really like that. I think that would just because. Well, one, you know what this would remove? This would remove the prohibition. Prohibition would have never happened.
Yep.
Prohibition would because it was only because of the religious right, and honestly, a very religious right plus the 19th Amendment with women was the only reason that the prohibition. I can't remember exactly where prohibition and the 19th Amendment were at, both damn close, and they kind of went hand in hand together on getting that shit
prohibition
outlawed.
was because I think 19th Amendment was what 1920, 21,
Yeah, somewhere around there, and the prohibition
then
was right after that.
23, I think.
Yeah, so it was.
I only know that because Boardwalk Empire. Fucking, I got HBO Max. I'm living large, folks. I'm living large.
But yeah, that's it. So I would think that, and then now, how would that work out later to now? I mean, we could see a lot of like, basically, anytime it removes funding, that's what I like to hear. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Anytime, like, I don't want this. Like, these people shouldn't be getting money from the government. So
Here's one that I found very interesting. In 1878, an executive council of 3 to replace the office of president.
so it'd be like 3 presidents, but kind of split third.
Yeah,
in
this is
power.
it's like a trilateral commission that takes over the presidential duties, the
I
executive
can
office.
see how like I like it as in again separating more powers. I can see the counter argument of you still need one man at the head to be the face and the leader.
Yes, it's a man. I think it's been very clear throughout American history. It should be a man.
Imagine one of those 3s is a woman. God, that would fuck everything up. God, I mean, just like,
You'd have to
you're like,
agree
hey,
with her.
like you and the dude, you and the other guy are like, hey,
Yeah.
let's get this done. And she's like, hey, why don't we like do this instead?
It'd be very
God
clicky.
damn it.
It'd be very clicky.
Yeah, it would be.
Again, God forbid you get like two women versus one.
What? Sorry, my wife wants me to give a diaper change to my son. I think she's drunk.
That's
She,
fucking
like, came-
great.
I know,
Drunk
she's
wife
like-
handling your child. That's the best thing in the world.
She wants me to change his diaper because it's really bad and really stinky. Apparently,
All
just
right.
change him. He just had rice and beans. He just shit that right out. I had to go get some nice Mexican right before this. Come back, rice and beans and the baby.
He's having the shits that I'm having right now.
Yeah, he's having.
He's having the toothpaste shits. If you have to go, dude.
No,
we're out of time, so.
we can. I like these. These are really cool. I actually really like doing this.
1893, renaming this nation the United States of Earth.
That's actually really cool, and actually,
dope.
it's really funny because it's basically like
It's a foreshadowing of us
Yes,
taking over the
I
fucking
was-
world.
It literally was like someone was such a forward thing, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna be like a world power, and like
Yeah.
the world power in like 30 years. Let's just call
Dude,
it the United
You know
States
how many
of Earth."
fucking idiot Iraqis we're gonna kill? You have no
Yeah.
idea.
And if we're the United States of Earth, they can't say anything. We rule Earth.
Yeah,
and
true.
if there's aliens ever come, you know where they're coming? They're coming to us.
They're coming to us,
And they'd be
yeah.
like, "Who's the rulers of Earth?" And we're like, "We're the United States of Earth. It's us." Like you, like that's. I really like that. Just as like a eye-opening moment of just like, "Hey, we're gonna
the
say the
best.
quiet part out loud." Like
Yeah.
we are the United States of Earth. We're
The
the
alt-
rulers.
It's like the fucking alt uniform to the United Nations.
Oh yeah. We don't even need we don't even need the United Nations. That would just be our like, just our Congress. It's just like these guys. Like yeah.
Biden
whatever.
just running the world. Biden telling people in Indonesia what the fuck to do. Holy fuck, dude! That'd be the best thing in the world.
I love this so much.
Telling like middle African countries that they have to accept gays.
Oh,
What the
that's gonna be
fuck?
like you're like in push like they're like no, you have to do drag queen story hour in a Muslim school
Yeah.
on like on a Saturday, like on their holy day, like on their
Oh yeah.
and
That'd
they're
be
just
great.
watching them like,
To
hey
watch
guys, you
them
gotta.
fucking just immediately be repulsed by like even Trump. They're like,
Oh yeah.
we're moving the the embassy to Jerusalem, and immediately the entire Muslim world's like, no, what?
What?
No,
It's like you can't do that. Like we're the United States of Earth. Like it's us.
it
Y'all.
might as well be the same thing because it's like it's basically like we're moving the embassy to Jerusalem.
Honestly,
They're
I
like,
kind
this
of
is-
I want them to do this now. I want them to bring up this amendment now and be like, hey, you know, let's rethink this one. Let's bring it back up. Let's revote because I think this one has some legs.
here's so let me go to this next one because this is my favorite. Well, not actually, it isn't really, but just in theory because of what these entities have been doing. But we need these two things: abolishing the United States Army and Navy.
Wait, that was an actual amendment that was brought forth.
1893.
Oh my god! Like that's actually that's crazy. Wait,
Here's-
so it would
so-
would just
I don't know. So they wouldn't have Air Force at that point.
no.
So
and
they were
and I don't-
getting rid of all military powers.
I
You
think
know
the
some
Marines
fucking
were, no, I think the
Quaker-
Marines were around by then. I wanna say
Marines
the
are a branch of of the Army, though.
or
right?
no, they're their own branch.
Oh.
They were under the Navy.
Are you
and then
thinking
they
of SEALs?
separated.
Wasn't that the Navy's the SEALs?
Navy
Are the
SEALs- no,
Navy?
but the Marines are their own branch.
Okay, interesting.
So, and I think so. I bet they were trying to do is try to consolidate it afterwards into one branch. But I that's such a weird like.
Dude, 1894. This is kind of a boring one. Acknowledging that the Constitution recognized God and Jesus Christ as the supreme authority in human affairs, which is the exact opposite of the 76 one.
I was
about
going to say, I
forbidding
was like,
religious
they were like,
officers.
we got to go back because we got it wrong here. Maybe go.
Here's a
completely
real
opposite.
here's a real Tower Gang one. 1912, making marriage between races illegal.
That was definitely put forward by a guy in Alabama. Like he was
Yeah.
just like, hey y'all, I know what we're gonna do.
He's
You know, you
fucking-
see, he's
fucking first coach of Roll Tide, baby. The Crimson
he's like-
Tide, baby.
He was like, I don't want to see none of this race mixing at all in this lovely United States of Earth we have.
I like
So-
bright colors. I don't like it when you dumb it down and all of a sudden everything's getting gray and brown.
Yeah,
I like a jubilant white and a vibrant black. I don't want to
Say,
have anything in
I
between.
need to look at a person and know if they're good or not. All right, you know I can't tell when they're all mixed up and gobbledygook together. I need to know. White is right.
I am not a monochromatic man. I do enjoy contrast.
that's fucking. I love that was because it was. I want to say it was a law in multiple southern states. That was a law.
Yeah, I'm sure it was it was ubiquitous throughout the southern states.
Yeah.
They're still pissy about the loss in the Civil War, and it's just like a straw grab to get something
Yeah.
finalized. It was some fucking idiot
Yeah.
congressman who's like, "Watch this, guys. Yeah, this is what I
What do
promise
you have to have? What's the like process of getting an amendment put forth? Is it just
I
like,
don't know. I don't
Because
know.
if it's just like one guy can be like, hey, I want to pass an amendment, like whatever, then like these kind of like you can kind of be like, okay, it's just one dude. If it's like, hey, you need like a certain amount, have to put forward this with you, and it's like a legitimate amount of people, that makes it really funny to think about like a guy going around to like every southern state representative and being like, you got this with me, and they're like, we got you. We'll get this put forth.
We've gone Ben had it with you, brother.
you know we are right there with you.
Here's something that actually is very interesting now. So, in 1916, all acts of war should be put to a national vote. Anyone voting yes had to register as a volunteer for service in the United States Army. 1916.
100%. This is amazing. I want this more than anything. It would be literally we wouldn't be in any war. I think maybe the
Never.
only war we probably could have gotten World War II. They probably could have gotten World War II. But after that, I don't think they could get a war off the ground. It would be insane because like it would have to be a directed. And now this is where it kind of flips over.
Now,
and
I
you,
would
like-
say we still would have gone to Iraq because you know how many fucking people were fired up about 9/11 and bought the lie.
But now, as a Ron Paul understander, you understand that this is all blowback from other wars we fought in the Middle East that we did. So it's kind of like a
Okay. Yeah,
if we
first
were never
Gulf
in
War,
those,
and yeah, okay.
where would we be in this next one? And I don't think so. And it was so it's kind of a that's my son. He's upset.
Yeah, he's upset. He wants to fucking go to war, and he doesn't. He
He was
shouldn't have to
like,
register.
Dad,
dude.
vote for war, man. That
What
is
are we
that's
doing?
that would be probably the best amendment yet to the Constitution, because it would literally military industrial and the fact they put it forth in 1916.
It's wild.
Oh, it was right before. Oh, what they're doing is people didn't want to go into World War One. Bad. They did not want to do it, and so they're like, you know what? The opposition was like, all right, fuck you. We'll take you away. You cannot. We're not gonna be able to go to war if we put this through.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it through. So then we went into because we went into World War One, and I think we declared war in 1916, and we finally got there in 1917. It took us about a year, 6 months to get ready to go over there.
It's interesting. So there's two more here that I want to read.
Yeah.
Two, it kind of piggybacks off of in 1960. In 1936, an attempt to allow the American people to vote on whether or not the United States should go to war.
Yeah.
Which is
And
very-
again, this was they saw what was going on in Europe, and they were like, we don't want World War One again. All right, how do we stop it? We
Yeah.
let the Americans vote on it, and I guess they were like, okay, we can't. Last time maybe it didn't work because of the making people go to war if they voted for it. Maybe
Yeah.
that was like a sticking point for some people or something like that. And so they're like, all right, we'll just do it where they just have to vote. We'll cut off the other part, and maybe this will get through. And I wonder, I kind of want to see also how these fared. Like, how close did they get? That'd be really cool to see. Like, how close did
Yeah.
they get for this to happen? Because I think we still would have made in World War II, but
Could have been.
and then would they pass another amendment after that to?
I don't know. Well, I guess maybe, but World War, you would assume that we would have tried to stay out. And I guess you got to keep in mind for World War II, it's like, yes, Pearl Harbor, but I would venture to say if the American people could vote on whether or not to go to war, we're coming off of the haunches of World War One,
Yeah.
where those guys went through like whatever hell on earth, like that was that.
Yeah. And then they went through the Great Depression right after that.
Yeah.
And they were like, now we're just poor.
Yeah.
How can we go to war? I can't feed my family. Now I'm gonna leave, and now my family's just gonna be at home without me, the breadwinner. Like, how does this
Yeah.
work? So
I saw my brother-in-law get shot in the head, and now I'm fucking poor.
yeah, it's like this
Jesus.
this is stupid. Yeah, it's I think they could have, just because of Pearl Harbor. I think they could have got in the propaganda they used. But
Man,
like
the
Korea,
Japanese-
like
I always
Korea,
I always forget how wild the Japanese were during World War II.
crazy man.
They were fucking
Dude,
crazy.
have you looked up Unit
Unit 51, Unit 52, or something,
whatever it is? Yeah,
Unit
it's Unit
32
something.
or 33.
Yeah.
yeah. No, it was
crazy shit. It's like it's some of the wildest.
It's Mengele. It's basically Mengele. It's like there's in fact I don't know what Mengele did versus Unit 33 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
but it, Japan might have eked out a win as far as atrocities when it
yes.
comes to human experiments, because they were fucking people
If anybody's
up.
listening to this and doesn't know what we're talking about, look it up, because it is one of the craziest things I've ever. It was probably the craziest part of World War II. Out of all the nastiness that happened in World War II, this is probably the worst. And then they got away with it. They
didn't
got
fucking-
through. Some people got away with it, but they basically almost got through scot-free. And then up until now,
Honestly,
still
honestly, the only reason they got away with it though is because America dropped 2 nukes on
Yeah.
cities, and then we were like, all right, hey, we're even. We're not gonna tell anybody about what you're doing to the Chinese.
And there was also like a thing of like they were, I think the Americans were sold that this was like scientific, and so they're like, all right, and the Japanese were like, hey, if we give you all the information we got, you just can't do anything to us. And the U.S. was like, all right, sure. Maybe they found out like nothing. They just found out how you can kill people like really excruciatingly terrible ways. Nothing really else. But like I think up until either now or maybe just a few years ago, the Japanese government still denied that it was ever a thing.
Oh,
Yeah, you can
that's
look it
like
up. Yeah,
the guy from the Young Turks
yeah, with the Armenian genocide. Yeah.
refusing the army until like 2017. It was nuts.
It's
It
like-
was crazy.
I'm pretty sure the Japanese government still denies that, or they were up until like a few years ago. They denied they were like didn't exist, or they were like had nothing to do with the Japanese Empire.
That is the fucking best way to combat anything. It was like you committed unspeakable acts. You just Shibo's just like nah.
No, it's
Yeah,
like
bro.
like Tiananmen Square. They're like,
Yeah,
hey China,
like,
what about Tiananmen Square in
no.
1986? They're like, nope, didn't fucking happen. Like, what are you talking about? Didn't happen.
It's the same. It's like Operation Condor with all the shit that the CIA did in the South America in the 50s through like the 80s, and they're like, "What were you doing over there?" And like, "We weren't over there. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?"
It's like all the operations the CIA did, like Mockingbird, or like they're like,
Yeah.
hey, we have like the documents right here, and they're like, you tell somebody, they're not gonna believe you. Didn't happen. Whatever.
Yeah, it's
Fuck
like we
you.
were all at the fucking Live Aid concert when Freddie Mercury fucking sang his ass off, and he didn't tell anybody he had AIDS. It's a brave man. It's a brave gay man, and we listen. We're pro gay now.
What you talking about? Cocaine to the
Yeah.
to the black neighborhoods?
You're
Bullshit.
talking about fucking
We didn't do that.
leveraging. You're talking about leveraging the Mena, Arkansas airport and a captured U.S. or a captured state governor, Bill Clinton, and allowing Barry Seals trafficking in cocaine and then reselling it in the inner cities, particularly in L.A. with Freeway Rick Ross, and then Gary Webb. This guy Gary Webb happens to write a fucking weird story. It's not our fault he fucking committed suicide. Okay, like fucking
Dude,
it's
if
wild.
you want a great one on that that there is I love Wendigoon. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a great conspiracy theorist on YouTube. He has a video about these boys that were killed.
Don
on the
Henry
train
and
tracks.
Kevin Ives. I know everything about it.
Bro.
They said that they died because they smoked too much marijuana and fell asleep on the railroad tracks
and got
ran over. The train conductor said that he did not see boys. He saw a blue tarp over something and hit them.
Yeah.
The family had them exhumed and a private autopsy was conducted. I forget who it was. Either it was Don Henry or Kevin Ives, but one had stab wounds, one had severe blunt trauma to the head. There were like
the
7
state-
witnesses
Yeah.
that were willing to testify after they wanted a retrial. All 7 died. One of the most absurd examples of how they deemed one of the deaths of the people that were willing to come forward and testify was a person who was found dead in his home. His head was gone, and the medical examiner, who was very good friends with Bill Clinton at the time, I
That
think it was
guy
some
is a
Indian
fucking
guy.
dude. That medical examiner was on. He did all medical. I think for all of them, right? I think he did
Yeah,
for
he did all of
every
them.
person, and every one of them, he was like, it was some bullshit.
So, and this was the craziest one. They said that this decapitated person, they said, well, he didn't die from the decapitation. He died from natural causes, but his dog, a Chihuahua, ate the head. Right?
Bones and all.
Bones and all. And now
the
they did
skull was
find there was a police report filed that there was a head found in a dumpster a couple miles away, but they didn't. That's a different head. Yeah, I know. Believe me, that was a big one for me.
And it's still today. You can actually go. The family is still today trying to raise awareness and get like answers because like it basically went. This is all jokes. This is all fun and games. It basically went all the way up to like Bill Clinton. Like it was like all the way up to basically because like what you said with the drug trade going into Arkansas, like he was at the top. Like and then this guy becomes president. And then, like there's a lot of,
and that was the time, I forget what it's like, the International Bank of Commerce or something. It was like ICCB or something.
Yeah.
That it was found out that it was a clear front for money laundering for the CIA that had connections to this drug trade.
And the whole thing was like there was also,
and this was all tied to his funneling arms to the Sandinistas as well.
Yep.
So it was a
crazy. Go look up the story. It is insane. The Wendigoon has a great video on it. If you just want a quick, like I think it's about an hour long or something like that. It's great, and it's one of like the whole story is wild, and it starts off with just like what it sounds like is just like 2 guys that just got hit by a train and died.
Yeah, 2 kids.
And that's just what it sounds. 2 kids. But then it explodes into literally one of the biggest conspiracies, like that people don't know about. Like that people just like they completely got it got away. I think the examiner finally did get caught, or he finally he did something, and I want to say he kind of he lost his license or he went to jail for something, but I can't remember what. I may be misremembering. There was a few people that did get to go to jail, but it was like low level that I know. My wife is giving me the
That's all right. We're
Yes, we're way over.
This is the perfect fucking
Yes,
thing
sir.
to wrap up on. Again, just tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, Tower Gang Cole and Fat Comic Dave on Twitter. Tower Gang is the podcast I do with Clint Russell, Toad, Top Lobster, and Jose Galson every Wednesday at 9 p.m., 9:11 p.m. Eastern, and we go fucking crazy, have a lot of fun. I don't think we have any guests coming up. We were just we were doing a lot of guests in a row. We sometimes just like to chill out, do just us, just the boys. So come check us out. Zach, thanks for having me on. It was great. When you texted me, I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that." I love doing your
absolutely.
show.
Fucking, we have an overlap in fans, I think.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
you
we do.
fucking. By the way, faggots who are Tower Gang fans and not coming over. I see the numbers. Get over here, you fucking cunts, and go to my Patreon. Don't fucking be
Yes.
stingy.
Yeah, give him
Don't
money.
be-
Don't
Yeah.
give him views. Give him money. That's what.
Don't
he
be a
wants.
Zionist. Get over there and fucking start shelling. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Love you guys.